Sports fans, PB and Z Sports Cast. And PB, we're about to do our college preview show, but breaking news just came over minutes ago. Micah Parsons is traded to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's a pretty decent player. But what's even more wilder is the contract they signed right after that with him. 4 years, $188 million. He's now the highest non-paid quarterback in the NFL at $47 million a year, which makes him higher paid than Dak, for crying out loud. What is your thoughts immediately when you heard about this?
I had a feeling something like this might happen. Something like this might come. Only
Okay.
because of how stubborn Jerry Jones is. And he treats that franchise like a business. He doesn't treat it like a personal uh like in his heart, like let's just say like Robert Kraft does, right? There's so much in his heart about that team that he just loves, that he's always going to be looking out for the community, always looking out for the fans, always looking out for, putting a good team on the field and figuring out creative ways to make that happen. Where I think Jerry Jones is more of strict businessman. If it doesn't make business sense, he just puts the blinders on. He treats people like crap, and then this stuff happens. So it doesn't surprise
But Jerry's overpaid in the past. As a Cowboy fan, I know that. I think that this time there was something personal about it at the end of the day. And by the way, Jerry Jones is getting old, and I don't know that he should be responsible for the NFL franchise. At some point in time, the league has to step in, like the NBA did to Donald Sterling from the Clippers years ago. The guy's going to go. He just can't be in charge anymore. Either you have a GM, you can't own the team anymore. We're suspending you. That's my thoughts.
yeah,
But by the
yeah.
way, that's a big trade for Green Bay. 2 first rounds, Kenny Clark, like we just said, and $47 million a year. Now, the big monkey on the back is the GM, Gunikis, or however you say his name, for Green Bay. To me, they have to go to the NFC title game at the minimum, or because
Yeah.
guys going to be cut next year because they can't afford to keep paying Micah that money and keep other guys on the roster.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this move is big enough. He's such an impact player that it will have an immediate impact on odds. Whatever Green Bay was to win the Super Bowl, let's just say it was 18-1 or whatever number was out there, it probably just went up at least three or
Yep.
4 points. And the same thing with Dallas. If Dallas was sitting at, 15-1 or something, now they're probably going to 18-1 or 20-1. That's that much of a swing for a player like that.
But you
And
remember we did a divisional preview, and I said all my picks about Dallas are based on Micah signing. So now that's all changed. When we do our NFL preview show, I will not have Dallas winning the NFC East. Trust me.
right. Yeah. Which will be coming
Right.
this weekend, by the way, right?
Yes. All right, let's get to college football. College football right now, I mean, between NIL and the transfer portal, I mean, you've got 8 new starting quarterbacks for the top 10 teams this year, prediction wise, anyways, early predictions. I'm just, I don't know what to do anymore. The two storylines for me is that NIL transfer portal, how it's gonna make other teams look this year, how it's gonna
Mhm.
impact teams that should be perennial favorites. The other one is Bill Belichick at North Carolina, and you're going to go see him, I heard, right, at Miami this year.
Yeah, yep.
And the last one, it's not a storyline on the field, but to me, one of the most touching moments of the year will be Saturday morning. Lee Corso does his last college game day show. I watched the special on it the other night on ESPN. And I got to say, I shed more than a few tears. Watching Lee Corso no longer being on that show or not watching it anymore is going to be a tough day. And as you heard, I heard guys who are stars in the NFL now said, I watched Lee Corso as a kid on college game day, and it was impactful. So I'm going to miss him. So those are my,
Yes.
my storylines going into the season for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, Lee Corso, give him all the credit in the world for, the impact he's had on college football on that show. But it's about time. The guy's lived a good life. I mean, he's in his 90s, right? I mean, at some point,
Well, I get it. He slowed down over the last
he,
few years and he started and
he's,
stuff, but
yeah.
they don't have a replacement for him. You don't have a replacement for him that's going to be that impactful guy. Who's going to go out and put the mascot head on and be
I think, I
jovial
think
about it?
Z, I think Z should do it.
I could do it for sure. With Herbie's input. All right, let's talk about college. We're going to talk about the games because this weekend we're going to pick those games coming up. I've never before seen a playoff elimination in week one. I mean, that's how great the week one schedule is. By the way, we had week zero last week. There's a couple good games. This is officially week one. But going into the season, like right now, PB, when you look at, I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, who's the starting quarterback at Alabama? A guy named Ty Simpson. Apparently, he's been on the roster for 3+ years. He didn't have a shot at it ever before. This is his 4th year. Oh, my students, John Mutia. I didn't even know where he came from, but he's apparently a 50-1 a bet on a Heisman Trophy. You got Michigan, the #1 recruit in college football. They've never, ever played the #1 recruited quarterback in Michigan. Bryce Underwood is going to start there. Obviously, Archie Manning is going to start at Texas, but he's only played 2 games. At the end of the day, Notre Dame, who's in the college football final last year. They got C.J. Carr, never played a game. Oregon's got a kid named Dante Moore, never played a game. Ohio State's got this kid, Julian Sayers. I'm not saying anything, but I don't have any respect for him. And then last, Georgia's got Gunnar Stockton, who's been on the roster for a while. So this is what the transfer portal and NIL has done. We got quarterback, and these are all, by the way, top 10 teams. Other than Oklahoma was 18th. What do you make of this?
Yeah, it's almost like trade deadline, right? In pro sports, when all of a sudden, like in baseball, we just experienced this, and all of a sudden there's all these guys on different teams. You're like, wait a second, you wake up and everything, all the cards are shuffled, and it kind of has that similar feel because typically we were used to someone starting as a freshman, maybe gets redshirted, and you watch them for 4 or 5 years, maybe they come out early. And you see someone play their whole college career with the same team.
I
And
mean,
that's
at least
just
2
not the
years. At
case.
least 2 years. Yeah, at least 2
Yeah.
years. By the way,
That's not the case anymore.
you have a guy that's played for about 19 years, start for your team, Miami, Carson Beck,
Carson Beck.
from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? That's why, and Cape Klubnik from Clemson, who we'll talk about them in a minute. He's played for 2 years. This will be, I think, his 2nd year, if I'm not mistaken. So, a little experience there. The most experienced at quarterback are the 2 best teams, I think, in the ACC. So, let's talk about that. Let's talk about who we like in each conference, starting with the ACC. Miles, we'll talk about it. Who do you like in the ACC?
I got to go Clemson. I mean, they're a top team. I do like Klubnik. I think he's a potential Heisman candidate. I think that opening game against LSU is going to tell us a lot. But LSU's an SEC team, so I'm not worried about necessarily the outcome there because I think the ACC is, as we know, it's a step down from the SEC, and I think Clemson could lose a game, maybe even 2, and still win that conference.
I don't know about 2, because Miami's going to be very tough, and I think we just talked about with the quarterback coming in from Georgia. I think that's going to be a huge impact for them. I don't think they're going to have a step down because they lost Cam Ward, the #1 pick. Miami's going to be right there at the end of the day. So Clemson's going to play their A game. Clemson has, talk about the playoffs, though. We'll talk about that momentarily. Clemson does have the big benefit of if they can win the ACC, where their seeding is, because they start with an SEC school, LSU. They finish with an SEC school, South Carolina, who's ranked 17th at this point in time. So they got some, if they go 2-0 against the SEC, we know how everybody thinks about the SEC. That's going to be favoritism, right?
Yep. So you're taking Clemson too?
Yeah, I'm taking Clemson. All right. I'm struggling on this one. The SEC, who do you like here?
Oh, man, that's tough because, I'm not sure Alabama can get there as we're typically used to seeing them right in the mix. LSU, again, just their quarterback is outstanding. Nussmeier, I think he's going to end up right there at the end of the day in terms of the Heisman.
He is a return quarterback. Good point. Good point.
Yeah. And who else would I put in there? Georgia, I'm not sure.
We're going to talk about the guy playing the opening game. Texas, right? Texas
I'm going
SEC.
Texas. Yeah. At Texas, and that's what I was going to get at. These are all your typical teams you're used to talking about, right? Alabama, LSU, Georgia, maybe even Florida comes into that conversation sometimes. But I think I'm going off the board a little bit here. Not really necessarily because they're ranked #1 right now in the preseason polls. But Texas is new to the SEC, and I think they come in and make some noise I'm not sure about opening day up in Ohio State, but again, here's a team that can probably afford a loss and still win the conference.
With you. And by the way, that if they lose that game to Ohio State, it's out of conference, so that's not going to impact them in the conference at the end of the day. I got Texas as well, and I got Georgia sneaking in at number 2 in the SEC.
Okay, I like it.
All right, let's go to the Big Ten. A lot of people are talking about Penn State, but no
Yeah,
one's really talking about the team that's playing Texas in week 1, who, by the way, is the favorite in that game. The team that
Ohio
won the
State.
national championship last year. What do you think about the Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, you got to put them in that conversation. Ohio State, obviously, Michigan maybe becomes part of that conversation. I think Illinois might surprise a few people this year, be
I
part of that
saw that. Yep,
conversation.
yep, I saw that.
But at the end of the day, I still think Ohio State's the team to beat in that division. Um, I do like the quarterback at Penn State, probably a little bit better with Drew Alla.
Well,
Penn
yeah, I'm
State
with you. Yep.
probably has a better defense. Um, but if saying, just saying, if saying can can do what people are thinking, and we know Ohio State quarterbacks, they always ball in college. Pro is a different story, but they always
Yes.
ball in college. And Jeremiah Smith. I mean, let's not forget about this kid. This kid is probably the most likely non-QB to be in that Heisman room
Yep.
at the end of the day.
Yep.
And if those two can create that offensive combination and the defense does what their defense does, the team could still be pretty scary. So it's hard to get away from Ohio State. I think it's going to be right there, Ohio State, Penn State, but I'm going Ohio State on that one.
I'm with you. I'm going to go Ohio State, Penn State as well. And a lot of experts, college football experts, have picked Penn State, but uh, Big Game James is not Big Game James. James Franklin's not a big game coach winner, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of that's coming from Drew Aller. I think they're probably giving them a little bit of an edge because I think they have the edge at the quarterback position.
I would agree. All right. So here's the last of the power conferences, Big 12. This is one's going to be wide open as it will ever since Oklahoma and Texas left 2 years ago. It's going to be wide open. Who do you like here?
Man, I'm trying to even think who's still in that conference. Is A&M still in that conference, or are they in the SEC
No,
now
man,
too?
they're an SEC school.
They're in the SEC too. So who's in there? Like Kansas, Kansas
It's a
State.
team that's fairly new there that everybody talks about. It's Utah. It's Utah,
Okay.
K-State, Kansas. I don't see Colorado doing anything. They're back in the Big 12 again now.
Yeah.
They got no one left, right?
Oklahoma
And then
State is in
you've
there.
got another
Iowa.
one is Iowa State.
Oh, Iowa State. I mean, Iowa State. Yeah. Yeah, Iowa State could be interesting. Man,
Iowa State, by the way, I think has the best coach. It's a coach I would play for. Matt Campbell, I would play for any day of the week. I'll tell you, the other guy is Utah's coach. I just drew a blank on his name right now, but he's a solid coach as well. I got Utah and I got K-State 1 and 2.
all right. I'll just throw Iowa State into the mix just as a dark horse, but
Yep. Yep. All right. So who do you have some picks for the college football playoffs? 12 teams?
I do. I do. I have all 12. Do you want my top four? Do you want all 12 or what?
Go all 12.
All right. So I line up with my buys. My
Okay.
buys are Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, and LSU.
Okay.
Um,
LSU
yeah.
is a bye.
Yeah, I got them as a
Is
buy.
the buy? I forget. The bye's no longer based on winning the division. It's
Right.
top four, right?
Right. So
Okay.
you can have
Oh,
two,
wow.
right. You can have two teams in
Okay.
the same conference getting a buy. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I got Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, LSU. My round out the field, I have Bama, Oregon, Penn State, Georgia. That's 8. I got Notre Dame. I was tossed between Michigan or Illinois. I think I'm going to do a little bit of a upset there and take Illinois as my
Okay.
10th team. And then my two sleepers, if you will. And I don't know if you want to call them sleepers or not, because they're ranked right now. South Carolina and Texas A&M. Those
Okay.
are that rounds out my top 12. And
Okay.
with the buys, Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, LSU.
All right. So I'm just going to rank them in the order that I see them in, not the buys. I got Ohio State, I got Clemson, Texas, Georgia, Penn State, Utah, which I don't think you said Utah, right?
I do not have Utah.
Notre Dame, Miami, Bama, Oregon, K-State, and Boise State.
All right.
Because Boise State's going to win that non-power five school. They're going to be the one that gets that automatic division playoff.
Yeah.
But this year it's not a bye, right? So there you go.
Yep.
All right.
So I don't think my list, because I have to have at least one of the non-Power Four conferences. I have to have someone outside of that, right? Because someone's automatically going to get in from there.
Yeah. AQS. Yeah.
So yeah. So I'll take out A&M and I'll replace it with Boise State.
Yeah. That's a smart move. Good thing you're listening.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you like for the Heisman?
Well, we know the favorites, Arch Manning, at Texas. This first game, though, could shift those odds. But you got him, and then you have Garrett Nussmeier for LSU,
Yep.
and you have Cade Klubnik with Clemson. I mean, those are kind of like your top three right now.
Yep.
And ironically, those 2 and 3 are playing each other in week one, LSU and Clemson. So I think the winner of that game, especially if it's a, shootout, high pad, lots of statistics are going up on the board, that and Texas loses to Ohio State, I think that quarterback instantly propels to the favorite. Obviously, a lot of stuff can happen throughout the years that goes on. But I got to look at the overall, team and the offense and the weapons they have around them. And I'm leaning Nussmeier at LSU.
Wow.
For that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'm at. I mean, my sleeper is Lenora Sellers from South Carolina.
That's out there, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that from any of the experts. That's out there.
Yeah. So I got him as kind of like my sleeper, and that's why I have South Carolina making the final 12 as well.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if I had to put money down, I'd do Nussmeier as of right now.
I got Klubnik. That's my favorite. I Arch only because everybody talks about him, obviously. But my outlier is John Matias from Oklahoma.
Okay. All right.
And by the way, the guy we didn't mention now, we talked about him earlier. I think he comes in third no matter what, is Jeremiah Smith, if not second or first.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, let's go back to what I said earlier about Jeremiah Smith, probably the most likely non-QB to be in that Heisman Trophy room, and I think he's got a good shot at being right there.
He needs saying to ball out in order for Smith to get the friggin' Heisman, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
If Sayin can't ball out, then Smith doesn't get it. But if he has a great year, Sayin, which by the way propels him up the Heisman list, Jeremiah Smith I think gets it because he's the best receiver in football. All right, you ready to make some picks from this weekend? Our famous college football foreplay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So, by the way, this is the first time ever that we're playing at least 3 games that are automatic disqualifies, I should say, for the college football players potentially at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So we got, let's go, look, where are my picks? All right. Obviously, the first one, number 1, Texas, goes to Ohio State, who's the 1.5-point favorite as of today. Who do you like?
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I mean, I can't wait to start watching some college football come Saturday, right? And this is the nice early game at noon. And it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be so close the whole way. I think these teams will play within 3 or 4 points of each other. And I'm going to go Ohio State on this one just because they're the home team. And it's only 1.5 points, so it's basically just a win straight up.
Yep.
And I think at the end of the day, they're gonna do it. They have enough with, like you just said, Sayin and Jeremiah Smith are gonna come out of the gate and just show what they're capable of. Texas has a good defense, so I wouldn't be surprised about that. And but so does Ohio State. This could be a low-scoring game, actually. I agree with you.
I mean,
I think this could be like
I don't,
2017 type of game or something like that.
I don't want to pick Ohio State because you know how much I don't like Ryan Day, even though I won a championship for once. Um, but because it's a noontime game, which means for Texas that's 11 a.m. game. Uh, it's only 1.5 points. Yes, they got to get Jack's whatever it's saying acclimated, but at the end of the day, I think the defense helps them along. Arch Manning still hasn't really played a lot. He's only started 2 games in his college career, so he's almost a freshman at that point in time. So as much as I don't want to, I'm going to Ohio State, and so is G Money in this game.
All right. There's a three for
All right, here we go. We're gonna go to
Clemson.
LSU Clemson, the battle of the Tigers, and I know they both have the same home field names, and it escapes me right now, but
Yeah.
LSU is a 3.5 point underdog against the number 4 Clemson. By the way, Ohio State's number 9 in the rankings. You seem to like a lot. You mentioned a lot about them in our preview show. What do you think of this game?
It was the battle of the two QBs we mentioned earlier, right now sitting at number 2 and number 3 in terms of odds for Heisman.
Yeah,
I think the
Valley. There you
winner.
go, Death Valley. Both of them are playing Death Valley. That's right.
Okay, yeah. Um, but this one's at Clemson. Clemson's 3.5. That line you're giving me 3.5. It's already moved to 4.5, which tells you money's coming in on Clemson. Um, and at the end of the day, I think Clemson does win this one. I'm a little bit nervous about the pick, but I'm gonna lay the 3.5 and take Clemson. It kind of goes against everything I just said, but I have both Clemson and LSU in my final, in my not my final four, my bye weeks for the playoffs. So whoever loses this can still run the table and still be right there at the end.
I agree. I'm going Clemson all the way. Dabble finally bought into the transfer portal. He's got a couple kids in there from the transfer portal. I think they win this game easily. And by the way, they got the better quarterback, in my opinion. The Club Nick's a better quarterback than Nussmeier. All right,
Okay.
let's go to number 6.
And G
Notre
Money
Dame.
has Clemson as well.
Yes, that's right. Yep, G Money's got Clemson. Good boy. Number 6, Notre Dame plays number 10, Miami. The last of the 3 games that feature all top 10 schools. Who do you like in this game? Notre Dame is a 2.5 point favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a good one. And this is Sunday night, actually, this game.
Yes, correct. There you go.
Yeah, down in Miami, Hard Rock Stadium. And I look at, Carson Beck coming over. He did have surgery, right? On his throwing
Yep.
elbow.
Yep.
So he's got to get reacclimated there. He does have a beast of an offensive line. So there is a potential for him to not have to, you know, get pressure and things like that, and obviously be able to run the ball a little bit as well and establish a nice game plan, right? Time of possession, run the football, mix it up a little bit. That's going to play in their advantage. But I am concerned about, you know, the new school, the elbow surgery, and all these other things. And I think at the end of the day, Miami's defense is okay. It's not great. And Notre Dame's defense is great. And I think that's what's going to end up being the difference here. So it's 2.5, you said?
2.5. Yep. Notre Dame.
Yeah, 2.5. I'm going to have to just, even though I think in the trenches, Miami could figure out a way to win this game, I think at the end of the day, Notre Dame's going to pull it off. Maybe a
You know what?
game-winning field goal at the end.
G Money does as well, but I have a feeling there's going to be a resurrection, the resurrection of Catholics versus convicts, and this time the convicts win again. Miami wins this game.
All right, good. I got the hat, and I'm not even picking.
Yes, I don't mind my have to. Oh, here it is. The U, we're back, baby. The U. All
There you
right.
go.
Last one, Bama against Florida State. Florida State had an absolutely horrendous year last year that no one saw coming. A lot of people had them being number 2 in the ACC, and they were in the toilet bowl. Bama's a 13.5 point favorite. Bama's got a new quarterback coming in. And am I correct? Does Florida State have the kid from BC, Thomas Castellanos, playing for them this year? I believe
I am not sure.
I believe Castellanos transferred down there.
Okay.
So I'm not sold that Bama can go to Florida State and cover. Bama's going to win the game, but I don't know if it's going to be by 2 touchdowns. I got Florida State myself.
Yeah, and G Money does too. And this is where I'm going to go the other way. I feel like these are sucker bets when I start seeing these big numbers. And I think the only reason why it's not more is because it is at Florida State. But you know what? Home field doesn't matter when you're talking about Alabama. Granted, they're not the juggernaut of past, but I still think they can take this game by 2 touchdowns. I'm going Alabama.
Don't forget they're breaking in a brand new quarterback. We'll
It's
see.
okay.
All right. You know what? This was under 10. I would have taken Bama, but I can't on 13 and a half.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, buddy. Nice
There you
show.
have
We'll
it.
talk NFL next, right?
NFL preview coming up on the weekend. Yes.
All right, sir. Talk to you
All
soon.
right. All right. See you, man.